The head coach from Hillsdale, John Tharp. The head coach from Augusta, Dip Metris. And the head coach from Chico State, Clink. We'll ask the coaches for an opening comment, and then we'll open the floor for questions. When asking your question, we'd like you to please state your name and your affiliation. And for our media that is joining us virtually, we're going to go ahead and we're going to let the folks here in person get their questions in. And then if we have time available, we'll go ahead and get to those questions virtually. Please use the chat box in the webinar to ask those questions. And once again, we only have 20 minutes with these guys, so let's let it rip. Coach Lombardi, go ahead and start with some opening comments.
You got 20 minutes for me or everybody?
Well, I've heard that you like to talk a little bit, Coach.
You can take my time.
Nah, I was just saying, I want to get one of them quarter zips for golf right there. Okay, the mayor looks pretty good. I don't know if it's the mayor making it look good or if it's actually that nice. But just thankful to be here, just blessed to be able to take these young men on a journey like this and to be able to compete and have this experience. Okay, you know, it's really about enjoying this whole process. There's only going to be one team that leaves here winner, but the other 7, you know, we're really fortunate to be here, and you know, we have some great coaches, and it's just a wonderful opportunity. We were here in Evansville in 15, and I'm sure it's just they were nothing but class back there, and I'm sure it's improved since then.
Good start.
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, a lot of the same things that Coach just mentioned. It's an honor and privilege to be here and to represent Hillsdale College. Our guys representing Hillsdale College, representing our league, and it's a privilege to be here. And our guys have worked incredibly hard. It's been a couple-year process for this team, and like I said, it's just an honor to be here, and we're going to do everything we can to represent our school and our league in the best way that we can.
I have similar sentiments. I told my athletic director, if the clocks move and you're still playing basketball, you're having a good season, so the clock switched. And we're just happy to be here representing our university. And we have not been back for a while. We're in Springfield, but Evansville looks like a great host, and we look forward to playing a very good Chico State team.
I just will also say what an honor it is to be here. The group of guys that I get to coach this year is as good of any group as I've ever had. It's just been an absolute pleasure to coach them and be here in Evansville. The community and the Ford Center are absolutely fantastic, and like these guys said, I'm just very grateful that we are still competing and have done as well as we have, and just looking forward to the opportunity to keep playing.
All right, we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. Thank you for the opening comments, coaches. Once again, please raise your hand. I'll call on you, and when you get ready to ask your question, please state your name and your affiliation. So let's open it up for questions for our coaches. Go right here in the front.
Chad Cook, Augusta University. Coach Metris, third 8-team tournament in about 3 or 4 weeks for you, if I have it right. What's different about the prepping for this one versus the conference tournament in the Southeast Regional?
People don't know we're moving into Augusta. We're going to play down there tomorrow. It'd be nice because we played all those tournaments our place. You play different styles. You see teams you haven't played against. It's just unique in that sense. I told our guys the other day to shoot around. Only 2% of the teams in Division II are still playing, and we're very fortunate to be one of the 8 teams. And like I said, it's an honor to be here. It's very, 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 very difficult to get here, and it's our version of the Final Four in Division II.
Next question. I'll pose one for the panel. And when I mentioned in my open, it's great to see everybody in person. Talk a little bit, and we'll start with Coach Clink. Talk a little bit just about how this year, it's almost like we are getting back to the sense of normalcy after the last couple of years.
It's been fantastic. I don't know how many people know, but our conference, the CCAA, we did not have a season at all last year. I saw my guys in person about 4 times over the course of the 9 months we were in school. So just to be able to play basketball again has been an absolute blessing. It's something that we're all very, very thankful of. I have 3 of my 5 seniors that came back for a 6th year and did grad school because they didn't want to miss out on their senior year. And so it's just been awesome. You don't really realize sometimes how good you have it until things are taken away. And we just feel extremely grateful that we're able to compete, that we're able to be around each other. We did have a handful of games that got canceled this year, but just to be able to get back at it and practice and be around each other and have that bond with the guys was really special for me and for our group.
We've got a unique perspective because we're at Medical University. So last year, at least two of our stars were cleared out with COVID issues. And we played in front of no fans. And for anybody who saw the last game we played in to beat a very good Queens, it was an electric atmosphere. So we went playing no fans, with nobody could make a shot outside of 3 feet last year, to having our guys back. And very fortunate to work at a medical university. We were on top of the COVID situation, probably more so than anybody in the country.
Well, we had a little bit, we did have a season last year, and so we were incredibly blessed. Our league allowed us to play without fans, but it was really interesting. We'd be 3 hours before getting on a bus, and we'd get a phone call, and there'd be a COVID outbreak, and those were some of the challenges that we faced. And so I think what the coach is saying, our guys are incredibly thankful to have this opportunity. And to see some of the things that were taken away last year in certain situations, you felt for kids, and it was hard for a lot of different kids and programs. But like I said, it was a great blessing to be back. And we talk about how thankful we need to be to have the day and to have this opportunity, and because we saw a little bit of it with last year.
I was speaking with Jay Lawson from Bentley and Coach Crutchfield earlier. None of us three had season last year, and they said that this has been the longest season, not the longest year, but the longest season, because it certainly felt like it's been 2 years in making. It's been 2 years in the making. So I think that just that comes with the added gratefulness, and just makes it even a little more enjoyable.
Questions from inside the Ford Center, and we'll go ahead and open it up for questions for our virtual media members that are watching. Once again, type into the chat box. Coaches, talk a little bit about getting through your regions, and it just seems like this year the regionals were just unbelievable with great basketball. Coach Lombardi, we'll start with you. Just kind of talk a little bit about just getting through those regionals to get to this point of the season here at Ford Center.
Well, in some ways, you can't get any better than playing in the region, especially if you host and you're at home. Because you just have the electric crowds, you have the atmosphere, and it's just really engaging. And then if you're fortunate enough to win, as we were, you're able to really celebrate and share that with so many people that you care about it, whether it's community members and loved ones and people like that. Unfortunately, we won't travel as well. Okay, I don't think we'll have 2,500, 3,000 people from Indiana here in the stands, but this will still be very gratifying. But for all the coaches that won the region, especially if they were able to win it at home, it's truly a great experience. It doesn't get much better.
For us and for a lot of these teams that are here, we faced a team in our league in the first round, and I think that's always difficult. Everybody knows your weaknesses and strengths, and then we played a Ferris State team in the second round that beat us bad earlier in the season, and then an UMSL team that won 16, 17 straight games, and so obviously very challenging when you're playing at that time. As Coach mentioned, you're going to see great teams that are hot, well coached, and so that we had some satisfaction with getting some revenge on some teams that beat us earlier in the year. But it was quite a challenge, no doubt about it.
Ours was really unique because I played my alma mater in the first round. Okay, so I left Belmont Abbey 18 years ago as a coach and ex-player, and that's who we drew in the first round. It's the first time I ever played my alma mater, who's also the alma mater of my athletic director and our tennis coach. So we had more Belmont Abbey fans cheering for Augusta, I guess. I don't know, it was very weird. But we also beat a very good Pembroke team, and a very good Queens team. We beat 3 teams from North Carolina, and North Carolina is known as the hotbed of basketball. So we were very fortunate to come out and a region that was stacked with nationally ranked teams.
Our regional was unique in the fact that we had 4 of our conference teams in the region, but we only ended up playing one of them. It was a situation where I thought we were going to at least see 2 teams that we had already played, but we played a really good Academy Art team from the Pac-West Conference in the first round, beat Cal State San Bernardino, who's in our conference, in the second round, and then played Alaska Fairbanks, who was actually the 10th place team in their league, and because of COVID situations, they had a tournament, a league tournament, where everybody participated in their league, and they ended up winning that. So they were on a 7-game win streak and won their conference tournament, and we played them in the championship and played well, and obviously won that. But it was enjoyable because we actually got to play a couple teams that we don't see twice a year. So we played well, the guys were extremely fired up, and it was extremely gratifying.
We'll ask inside Ford Center any questions here from our media. Go ahead, over on the left.
This is Luke Reed from Chico State, but I'm actually asking for our newspaper guy. He says he can't find the chat box.
Okay.
Greg, you've been here twice in the Elite Eight. What would you say you've learned from your experiences, and how has it prepared you for this year?
Well, I was talking to our guys about it, and the first time we made the Elite Eight in 2014, we had a good team, but I think we were all just really happy to be here, and we enjoyed the experience. We played an Aiken team that I thought clearly was better than us, and I thought we competed well. But what I told them is every team that we play in this, Elite Eight is elite. I mean, you have to play extremely well. Obviously, our first round opponent is extremely daunting. Just doing the research on Augusta, I mean, like every game that's being played here, we have our hands full. But we are extremely excited to be here, but we also have a group that's extremely confident and wants to compete. So I think that our mindset has changed a little bit in terms of not just being happy to be here, but being grateful and excited for the experience and really excited to compete. And like I said, I know who we play tomorrow, and I know how good they are, and we have to be on our A game. But we are excited about the opportunity to be here and play and soak it up like as good as we can.
Thank you. We're going to go virtually. Jenna Fink, go ahead. You are on.
Hi, Jenna Fink from Action News Now in Chico, California. Just curious question for the Augusta coach. What was kind of your biggest focus to get into the Elite Eight, and then going up against Chico State? What's stuff you have your eyes on?
For our part of the country, they play very similar to University of Virginia. Pack line defensive team, ball screen continuity. Very good team. And I'll go back to my first experience in Elite Eight. We were playing the first round of the 12 o'clock game against Central Oklahoma. And my AD was making reservations for us to fly home because we were down 7 with 45 seconds to go. He was over there making reservations, and we banged a few shots and we were able to win a couple games after that. So now Chico's very good. It's nice to play somebody in a different part of the country, to be honest with you. Our guys, most of our guys do not know where California is on the map, to be honest with you. It's way, way, way from Georgia. And I don't think we have a player on our team that's ever even gone farther than Mississippi. I wouldn't think. As I think about it, I don't think anybody has. So it's definitely unique, and I know they don't have anybody from Georgia. He already asked me for master's tickets, and I'm out. That's my boss. Check with my AD on that stuff.
So virtual media members, if you would like to ask a question, just raise your hand and I'll unmute your mic. We'll give you a second here if there's anybody virtually, and we'll open up for last questions from inside Ford Center.
Quick question.
Go ahead, over on the left side.
KPOI Radio in Chico. This is a question for everyone up there. I'm wondering about preparation for your opponent. Usually you have a week to prepare. You found out the seedings. You've got a couple of days, and I would imagine it's like cramming for a class. Any coach can answer that. The prep for your opponent.
Yeah, we found out, I think it was Wednesday, with our opponent, and from that moment on, it's a lot of film work and not seeing coach's team play and just trying to dot your I's and cross your T's and trying to get your team as prepared as you possibly can without kind of losing your own formula. You got to be careful of over preparing, where you kind of lose what you have done to try to get here. And so, yeah, there's been some sleepless nights, more for my assistants than me. I give those guys a lot of credit, but yeah, it's and again, just you see them, you see these teams, you're like, wow, these guys are incredibly talented and well coached, and that's what keeps you up at night.
I'm still trying to figure out how Augusta has a med school, but they don't know geography. But, you know, it is kind of fun because you play, as a coach, it's challenging, yet enjoyable because you play so many teams in your conference. That, you know, when you have the conference championship and the NCAA. So, you know, you just go in with a lot of respect, and you can't change a whole lot because you are who you are, and you have the habits that you have up to this point, and that's what you've been building to all year. And you know, as John said, you don't want to overanalyze it, okay, and then and freeze you guys up.
I don't think the way we prepare is any different in terms of how much film we watch and how we go about preparing the team to play. I will say we haven't had a lot of experience preparing against a 7'1" center that averages 18 and 8, so that's a little bit new for us. But our preparation in terms of how we go about it is very similar in terms of what we do and routines and all that.
I mean, the preparation's changed through the years because kids can log on YouTube. Our guys are logging on YouTube watching Chico before I was. So, you know, nowadays your film exchange is through the internet. It used to be we were waiting on, I'm old man, waiting on tapes and VCR. I mean, a couple of us are older up here. And yeah, it used to be you waiting on tapes to come in from the mail on FedEx, but now you just hit a button and you start preparing.
All right, we've got time for one more question. We're going to go virtually. Justin Couchit. Go ahead, you are unmuted.
Hey, Justin Couchot with the Chico Greg, over the last few years, had to kind of scout virtually a little bit more in terms of recruiting, in terms of scouting the teams. Does that help you when you're going to be going out and playing a team from across the country who you obviously have never been able to see in person?
You know, in terms of scouting, we don't do a lot of live scouting to begin with, outside of what we do in the preseason. So in terms of how we scout an opponent, it really doesn't change going into a tournament like this than what we normally do. I will echo what these guys said. It is fun to be able to see different styles and different teams throughout the country, and I will be real honest in the fact that, you know, I had to look up where some of the schools were from. You know, I think that we all have watched enough Division I basketball. When we hear a score or a team on ESPN, we kind of have an idea of where those schools are from. Well, Division II, it's a little bit different because a lot of the names are not presented to you as frequently. So I had a lot of fun just going back. I went and read Dip's bio and was just so impressed with the career he's had, and then had an opportunity to sit with him for about a half hour today in the lobby and just talk about a lot of things outside of basketball, which was, and I did hit him with the Masters question to see if he'd ever played Augusta National, but anyway, it's just cool to prepare for teams that you've never seen before and get to know coaches that you may never run into again. So it's fun, it's exciting, and yeah, we're just, you know, I think we're all just having a blast just being here and getting to know each other and preparing.
Well, that'll wrap things up for session number 1, coaches. Thank you so much for the time. Good luck tomorrow. We're excited for some basketball. Session 2 with our next coaches will begin in 5 minutes. Thank you, guys.